The fastest way to make a sufferer of a chronic illness mad is to tell them it's all in their head. But maybe that's the reality. Hey, I'm Melissa with The Simple Life Wife, and I have been making videos lately about brain retraining. So maybe this is your first time hearing about it, maybe not, but if you're interested, you're welcome to subscribe and follow along. So the idea of chronic illness all being in your head is that we're going to talk about pain to begin with. All pain originates in the brain. So if you touch a stove, a hot stove, if you touch fire, your brain is the one sending the signal of pain so that you will remove your hand and not harm yourself. So all pain originates in the brain. It's not saying that what you're feeling is false. Pain just originates in the brain. So to say it's all in your head is actually not mean. It's not saying that you aren't experiencing what you are experiencing. It's just to say that it really does originate in the brain. So whether that's pain or other physical symptoms, it can be any chronic illness. It can be anything from digestive, like constipation, all the way to cancer, because those things are chronic illnesses where your brain is sending you signals physically that you are in danger's way. And so a lot of times we just go to the doctor and do surgeries and all the things. And I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just talking about the brain retraining perspective of this. Like maybe there's a different approach that you could be taking. And I don't want to downplay any of these because I know that chronic illness sufferers, it's hard. It's hard and it overtakes your life and it can even kill you. Like it is reality. It's real. It's not fake. Your brain can tell your body to do crazy things just to get your attention and to save you from whatever it thinks is harmful in your life. So that could be emotional stress, or it could be literally you broke your arm one time and it healed totally fine, but your brain didn't get it that it's fine. So it keeps sending you signals of pain in the spot that you once had hurt, but it's totally fine now. And so it can run the gambit of, a lot of times childbirth is one of those things that sets on a chronic illness, like an autoimmune disease of some sort. It's stress to your body, and your body gets it in it. You literally get it in your head, not on purpose. You're not thinking it, but your brain realizes this is a scary situation, you're in danger, and I'm going to send you signals continuously until you deal with this. But you're no longer in that situation, or maybe it wasn't even as bad as your brain took it to be, like you had a C-section or something, which your body can take as extreme trauma. That's a major surgery. Or just, it could be normal childbirth too. That's major for your body. And most of the time your body knows how to deal with it. But sometimes a lot of chronic illness sufferers can pinpoint usually back to some sort of stress, whether it's emotional or a physical stress that happened. Sometimes it's something very small, and sometimes it's the weirdest thing, like not even a huge stress, just I can't go into all the details of all the people that I'm thinking about, but your brain is misinterpreting something that should not have been as scary to it as it became. It was kind of like a glitch. So the whole point of brain retraining is to calm your nervous system, tell your brain what to think, because it's the mind-body connection. You are actually, instead of listening to those symptoms and being fearful and starting that cycle of, oh, I really am in danger because I have all these symptoms and whatever, aches, everything, tumors, whatever, instead of listening to those signals as and getting more fearful, and then your body thinks it really is in danger and it gets worse and worse, you take over, you give it to God for sure, and you tell your brain what to do and what to think. Like, no, I'm fine. I'm actually totally fine. And it takes the fear element out of it. And over time, if you're consistent And there's a lot more to this. So this is just a general overview. And I always have the different programs you can look at for brain retraining in the description box. So if you want to learn more, you're welcome to do that. And I think there are a lot of different approaches to doing this, but the basis is the same. You need to tell your brain and your body what to do instead of listening to it in these chronic illness situations. So if you have, basically your nervous system has become hyper vigilant. So if you find you suddenly can't be around EMFs or mold, or fragrances, your nervous system is being hyper vigilant. You should be able to handle what life throws at you in a large way. I'm not telling you to go drink poison, but if other people can handle those things, then you should be able to as well. And so that doesn't take away, you live a healthy life. God wants us to take care of our bodies, yes, but not so extreme that we can't eat the good things he put on earth. These crazy diets I've done just to try to get down inflammation and all the things, and we're not eating the good things that God put on earth for us to eat. It just makes me a little bit sad when I think about how the healthy diets often exclude so many good things that God made for us to eat. And if you can't handle, if you have allergies towards foods, if you have allergies towards anything, that is a chronic illness. And that's your brain telling you something's unsafe. And so you need to tell your brain it is safe. And there are ways to do that. And I'm not going to go into that in this video, but there are definitely ways. And it's the whole brain rewiring. You're wiring in that you are safe in a lot of ways. And so then your brain will stop sending all these signals that you're not safe. All the physical, the chronic pain, all the things, the digestive stuff that's not working for you. The idea is that once your brain realizes that you're safe over time, you will go back to the rest and digest mode, which is where your body is meant to be. So I wanted to tell a story. I watched this great YouTube video the other day, and I'll link it below. It's these two doctors that were being interviewed. And so one of them was telling the story of these two ladies. One of them was telling the story about how she used to be just a mainstream normal doctor, and in a stressful job. And she went on vacation, and she had a great vacation. I think it was like 2 weeks, and very restful. In the very last day, before she was supposed to go back, she was relaxing at the beach, at the ocean, in a chair, and her back just like bang, did something wacky, and it totally debilitated, not totally, but it debilitated her in a large way from then on. Like, it wasn't just a day thing. And she went through, if you've been through chronic illness, you will get this. She went through all the avenues for healing, and nobody could fix her. Like, all the avenues. And so eventually, so she was like not walking right. It was completely chronic pain. And she had this other friend that was a doctor, and she had read a book, which I have not read this book, but it definitely, from what I hear, it definitely aligns with what I'm talking about, but you'll have to use your own judgment because I haven't read the book. But by John Sarno's, about back pain and the mind-body connection. I'm not sure what the name of the book is, but she had this other doctor had back pain previously, and hers was actually from some injury, but then she kept having chronic back pain even after it was healed for years and years. And she read this book, and I think by the time she finished the book, her back pain was gone. And apparently this is like a phenomenon. People are reading this book, and by the time they're done, their back pain is gone. So the same thing happened with this other doctor that, had this random back thing happen, and by the time she was finished with the book, her back pain was gone. But it's because he explains in the book the mind-body connection and how it literally is in your brain. And so if you can tell your brain what to think, it will stop sending the signals. And so I find that very intriguing. And I think of all these different people. So that's more on the chronic pain side of things. And I know it's specifically talking about the back, but I think that would be a really useful idea for any brain retraining idea, even if it's not pain. I've just thought of so many people that I'd like to share this with that are in chronic conditions. In general, when I share this kind of stuff with people, they don't take it too well. Sometimes I have had people take it really well, but then, it's kind of like, I know what your problem is, and they're like, leave me alone, you weirdo, because it strikes people as like voodoo or something, saying it's all in your head. Okay, anyway, those two doctors eventually, oh, hold on, I want to get back to, so the lady that had been at the beach, the doctor, she was going back to a stressful job, and so her body was trying to protect her because it thought she was going back into a harmful situation. It was definitely a situation she did not enjoy. And so it gave her this out of back pain. Like, here you go. You don't have to go back. We're going to take care of it. And so it's the weirdest things that can just trigger. It can be the littlest thing that can, a lot of people can't pinpoint what their trigger was. And it's really, you don't have to know what your trigger was of why you had this onset of chronic illness, but brain retraining it depends on, I guess, what kind of brain retraining you do. But though I've done a couple of Christian programs, and one in particular was really helpful because a lot of times chronic illness is kind of creeping up for a while. Sometimes it's just like, and it just, like, they call it the perfect storm. And I could see for myself, I don't really like to talk about my symptoms on here. There's something called mirroring, where it's not great to hear other people's problems because then your body starts to mirror them. You take on their symptoms, especially when you already have a nervous system impairment. Your body's searching out for the negative, and then it grasps onto it. So anyway, I don't talk about my symptoms on here, my issues, and I fully believe that I will recover from them all within time. And I have recovered from a lot, and so I'll link that video of where I put my 6-month update of brain retraining and all the improvements I've seen. All right, anyway, I don't even know where I'm going from here, but I hope that was helpful. And if you have any questions, just put it below. I know this kind of thing can be hard for people to accept at first, but once you grasp the idea of telling your brain what to do, or telling your body what to do rather than listening to your body, it takes a lot of the fear out of it. It's not sane. It's what you're feeling or experiencing is not legitimate, but just that you're telling your body, I'm actually happy, I'm healthy, I'm full of life, so you can stop sending me these signals, like I'm okay, like thank you for trying to take care of me, but I'm okay. And maybe you do need to make some improvements in your life, just healthy improvements, whatever they may be. But in general, you should be able to handle what life throws at you. Oh, the thing I was going to say is that a lot of times chronic illness is kind of creeping up for a long time. I'll just mention this one symptom of like fatigue. A lot of people have fatigue for a long time before their perfect storm of all the things that hits them. And I definitely had that for years and years. I knew there was something. And for my life, I just had personally a lot of emotional stuff that I've needed to work through. And this past however many months that I've been doing brain training has been so helpful because I'm working through all those emotional trauma things. And it's so soothing for my soul. And a lot of people that go through this say they wouldn't have it any other way because your brain, God created our bodies to help us. Like, your body's not against you. And so if you need to deal with something, your body's going to make sure that you deal with it. And so with brain retraining, I've been dealing with a lot of the past hurts, and it is so soothing to me, and I'm learning just how deep God's love is for me. Like, I wouldn't trade that. Like, that's what I've wanted all along. I have wanted that deep peace. And so physically, yes, those things came out, but it was to point to something that needed some tender, loving care, I think. So everybody's case is different, but maybe it is all in your head.